press conference that the Russian president held today about Ukraine, but also about the peace plans and peace talks. They talked about WITKOV. They talked about also his Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Sergei Lavrov. They talked about U.S. testing nuclear weapons. They talked about lots of issues. They talked about European economy and even talked about a possible recession for the German economy. They talked about corruption in the Ukrainian government or Kiev regime. So they talked about different things. So here the press conference, I shortened it because it was so long. So I took the important parts of the press conference and then I made them for you. So you will enjoy them. There you go.
The main international topic is Trump's peace plan, and we've got plenty of questions to you. What about this project, this initial unofficial project? Takes into account the Russian position. Did we get amended version of these proposals when the US-Russia negotiation will start? We don't know when they start. What you think at the minute on the prospects of the peaceful settlement in Ukraine? As to the project of this agreement, we didn't have any. There wasn't any. There was a line of questions which were put forward for discussion. As a whole, as I was mentioning many times before my visit to the US, to Alaska, we discussed this with the American negotiators, and after that, there was this list of possible agreements from 28 points of them. And like I mentioned, it was transferred to us, and we got acknowledged. We acknowledged it, and after that, there was a meeting between the Americans and the Ukrainians. As far as I understand, they decided among themselves that all those 28 points should be divided by 4. We agreed. It could have been as a base for the future agreement. I can't really talk about some final versions because we don't have any. One thing is to say that Russia is not going to attack Europe. It's funny for us. It's laughable because we never wanted to attack Europe. Okay, this is a lie. This is a total lie. But when everything is being fed to the society and the citizens are scared and they want to hear that we don't have any aggressive plans towards Europe. Who will be the main negotiators from Russia? And also reports on Abu Dhabi talks. It's a parallel process. And could you tell us who talks to who there? Who is the negotiator on the Russian side? Of course, it's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister Yuri Ushakov. He's in total contact with American colleagues. He cannot do everything himself. Minister of Foreign Affairs should help him. It's an absolutely huge issue. We have to put down in writing and dot the I's. So it's very, very careful work. The Abu Dhabi talks. I heard some noise, some informational noise on this issue, but nothing unusual was happening. Nothing terribly secretive was happening. Special services, both Russian and Ukrainian, were always in contact, even in hardest times. Same applies to now. We're talking about humanitarian issues, exchanging POWs, and the Abu Dhabi format, Abu Dhabi platform is very well suited for that. And we're grateful to local authorities for providing us. Due to this, many hundreds of Russian heroes return home. But the initiative of the Ukrainian happening in Abu Dhabi on demanding of the Ukrainian special services, it was a suggested place in Moscow for negotiations next week. Of course, go ahead. Who will be representing the US? It's clearly up to the President of the United States. We are waiting for them in the first half of the next week. Go ahead. Will you be insisting that the territorial issue when it comes to Donbass should be resolved here and now and forever? Or will you be prepared to lay it off until better times? One more question. Would you agree to come back to G7, G8, as it was mentioned in one of the issues of this agreement? And when it comes to G7 or G8, we were not asking to take us. We were invited there. We worked there. It was like a platform to adjust several positions. I have to tell you that, pay attention. Before the start of this tragic event in the Ukrainian direction, I stopped visiting foreign countries. But we never refuse to talk. We're always open for anything. We didn't receive any official invitations. I didn't hear anything. As a majority of members of this organization, the so-called G7, I said, I can't understand. Why is it a G7? Why is it great, grand, big? Is it according to population size? But it doesn't matter. Getting suggestions of stopping fighting here and there. When Ukrainian troops will leave their positions, that will be the stop for the war. If they're not going to leave their positions, we will fight them. Have you got positive dynamics on the front line? What is the most active directions? Every direction has a positive dynamics. The speed of our advancement is getting bigger. In October, I think it was 47,000 of Ukrainian troops killed. They took even some soldiers from hospitals. And if we calculate, we got minus 15,000. But the previous month, it was minus 10,000. So the gap is getting bigger. Have you heard the phone conversations of Mr. WITKOV and WITKOV, which were released in the West? And it's kind of like getting bigger. And they were attacking WITKOV because of that. What do you think about it? You know, when it comes to all these kind of leaks, fakes, maybe someone was just eavesdropping. It's a criminal offense. Criminal offense, yes. You do not have to. You have no right to eavesdrop. Let them do their own business. I don't know the details of all these leaks, but you know, obviously we're here working day and night, and I just came to see you and answer your questions. We were staying on the Anchorage platform, and suddenly the US announced sanctions against 2 Russian oil companies. What caused it? I'm being honest. I didn't understand what's happening. That's why he's too kind with his Russian colleague. Mr. WITKOV is going to Moscow on behalf of President Trump, because I know him personally. His friendship with President Trump is fakes. Goes back tens of years. He is an American citizen and he protects the interests of his country and his president. Of course, we have a dialogue. Mr. WITKOV is protecting the position of the United States. Now, in Europe, they're talking about confiscating Russian assets. What would be the Russian answer to that? Do you agree with Viktor Orban's words that he was saying that confiscating Russian active might lead to some litigation and collapse of Europe? Hungary is an EU member and sees better what could happen to the European currency. Of course, there will be dire consequences. Trust to Eurozone will drop dramatically. Germany, the engine of the European economy, is in a recession for 3 years running. And the Russian Federation government is working on mutual steps, just in case it will happen. Those little thieves in the Ukrainian authorities who are stealing their taxpayers' money and money of the Western countries' taxpayers. We heard about the corruption scandal in Kiev. Are they learning from the Europeans? Or Europeans are learning from the Ukrainians? After Donald Trump admitted that they might test nuclear weapons in the US, you gave special services and ministries a command to test our weapons. Do we have a concrete and final decision in this direction? Yes, I want some extra information on what Americans are going to do, and I want to see the suggestions what we should do in this situation. One of the suggestions is that we have to work together on this subject. We are ready, together with the American administration, to talk through all the questions related to the strategic stability. Maybe it will happen next week in Moscow during the negotiations. Of course, we will raise this issue in Moscow. Of course, we don't have Sergei Lavrov with you on this. You're missing him just a bit. He's not on holidays. We can't see him for 2 weeks with you. The mass media talking about his being out of favor because of his Rubio conversation. No, it's nonsense. He reported to what he will be doing and when, and he's doing that work. He's getting ready to meet American partners. If everything what is happening in Kupiansk now will happen elsewhere, the collapse of the front line will be inevitable. And some of our commanders say that some of the soldiers looking like homeless people. It's not a joke. You imagine they have 3,000 troops. They have to drop their clothes and food and armament and all the rest of it. It's impossible to maintain. You know, they're completely locked down. And those in the West, what it might lead to, and they insist on stopping fighting as soon as possible, even if they will demand some concessions from the Kiev regime, because I understand it's not only what it will lead to when the armed forces of Ukraine will lose their fighting capabilities, they will lose the better fighting units.